there's the news out of San Francisco that you talk about how this whole thing played out with Garoppolo and Lance, and then to see it go the way that it did in the first game, and then early on in the second game for Trey Lance, they're at home, and on a run play ends up going down. They put the air cast on, they cart him off, broken ankle, season over with. Then Jimmy Garoppolo steps in.
They paid somebody.
Oh, you think
they paid somebody? Like when they brought Jimmy G back for that.
They paid someone, or Jimmy G did?
Maybe Jimmy G did.
I'm just saying. You know how much Jimmy G did. You know how much Jimmy G made yesterday?
How much he made?
$350,000 more.
That's awesome. Good for
$250,000 for the play time. Played over a quarter of the snaps.
Damn.
And an extra $100K for the win.
Dang.
I'm just saying, dude. He was incentivized.
I mean, I take 10%. Just take sweep the leg.
Yeah.
Sweep the leg.
You know what the sad thing was? It did look like. Remember Dak's injury?
Yeah.
When I saw the photo, I was like, oh, no, that looks just like Dak.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew his season was over with.
They said it immediately.
Yeah.
Can I ask this, though? Like, is there a concern from you guys that he's the guy in the future? I mean, he's barely played one season of college.
Yeah.
He got in the NFL sparingly last year. Now you're talking about a bad start last week in week one. He gets hurt. He's a mobile guy. He obviously had a lot of work to do developing as a passer, especially from the pocket. I mean, you're talking about him coming into year 3.
Yeah.
Because then you got to make a decision after that 1 year.
What are you going to do with him?
I don't know, man. He's in a tough spot.
That's a tough spot.
And then if you go back to the COVID year in college, he's basically played in 4 games. Once he comes back from this injury, he will have played in 4 games in like 3 years. He hasn't played. They don't have no idea what they have in him. And now, on top of that, devastating injury. Who the hell knows how this whole thing could heal up? I mean, we've seen what happened with Alex Smith and other players that have dealt with bad breaks.
Go that far?
Well, I'm just saying, it's not a foregone conclusion. He's just going to come back and they'll throw some duct tape on it and everything's good to go and he's just off and running again.
What are you trying to say? He's going to get MRSA?
I'm just saying, it's a bad injury. It's a bad break. His season's over with. And now all of a sudden, the 49ers have no idea whether or not he's the guy. And then there was already some speculation that Kyle Shanahan wasn't all in on it to begin with. So here they are.
Can you do this for me? I mean, did their chances of winning the division increase? I don't mean to sound rude when I say that.
That's kind of crazy, but yeah, they look pretty good.
Had I known Jimmy G was going to play or play the majority of the game,
you look at the bet differently.
I would have laid the points. I'm just saying. I took Seattle and the points, and as soon as that injury happened, I looked and I went, oh no. San Francisco is gonna blow them out,
and they did. They gave him that Jimmy G work. Jimmy G came in like, let me handle my business. Let me sign these autographs. Let me hug these kids, pat them on the head, like, hey, Jimmy, Uncle Jimmy's back. Yep. If I was Jimmy G, I would be seen today. Is Monday still people's is this still kind of like their day off? I don't know if this is how things. I know Tuesday is like the day off. Monday you come in for treatment, watch film. I don't know. I would show up somewhere for Monday Night Football with 2 adult film stars, 2, not 1.
Yeah.
I show up with 2.
Yeah.
And everybody who would take a picture or a video or whatever, I'd be like, you know what? Jimmy G's going to do Jimmy G from here on out.
It's the Paisan passion, baby. It's back.
Hey.
The Paisan passion.
And make them pick up the tab. Instead he took the original one out to dinner. Now they're picking up the tab.
Let me tell you something. OnlyFans have made the type of chick that Jimmy G would roll with millionaires.
Yeah.
All right. Jimmy G's a good-looking dude. That's a fine-looking young man there. You know what I mean? Like, he ain't dealing with no busted shorties. You know what I mean?
Serengeti out there.
I mean, it's the Serengeti and OnlyFans for real. Like, it's the hunted and the hunter and OnlyFans. And people paying for it.
By the way, if anybody was wondering whether or not we were going to do an OnlyFans comparison to the NFL on a Monday after a wild slate of games, just did 8 minutes into the program.
I mean, think about this. There's somebody on OnlyFans that would probably end up going out on that date with Jimmy G that got more viewers than what Amazon.
Oh, come on. Hey,
Really?
Hell yes!
I know. I'm actually not.
Yes!
I 100% agree.
Yes! There's somebody on OnlyFans that got a higher viewership rating for one show than what Thursday Night Football did.
So Kyle Shanahan, the head coach of the 49ers, afterwards, he talked about the play call in which Trey Lance was injured and just the mood of the locker room after the game.
You guys watch other teams in this league, and Buffalo does it all the time with their quarterbacks. Pretty normal play. It's part of football, and it's unfortunate that he hurt his ankle on it. But it's very normal ran play. It's tough. You feel for someone so bad. It's it's a sad moment, but you don't have time to sit there and think about it. You got to get right back to the game, and I thought the guys did a real good job of that. But and we were real happy about the win, but it was a little sombering once you get in the locker room. We feel very fortunate to have Jimmy here as their number 2 quarterback, and especially when your starter gets hurt, it's good to know the experience and how good of a player he is. I think we feel like we've lost our starting quarterback. This would be, I think, the 4th time in 6 years. So we have been in this before, and I do feel we're a little more prepared with our backup right now.
You think? You think?
The difference was Jimmy G got hurt, and then you had someone else come in who's less experienced. Now you got a guy who you've won the majority of your games with.
Bingo.
Actually, a high percentage who's coming in to save you.
Didn't it seem like his teammates were really happy he was back out there? It's like it just felt like they were back to normal.
Can I say I spoke to someone in that locker room, and they were Jimmy G fans, is what I'll say. I'm just saying.
They were happy he was out there.
I'm not going to say that they were not happy with your boy, Trey Lance. I'm going to just say they were definitely pumped up about having the opportunity to play with Jimmy G.
I mean, the reality is guys appreciate professionalism. Like, Jimmy G's a pro, and you can say whatever you want about dating an adult film star, but all that stuff is cast to the wayside. Like, they just want someone to come in there and do their job, and you don't have any concerns whatsoever about Jimmy G doing that. So I think there's going to be a lot of, especially guys on defense, LaVar, like, that's where I kind of look at it and go, there's probably a lot of guys who they're not looking back to week 1 and going, did we put up 10 points versus the Bears? Did you see Green Bay last night? Like, I felt like Green Bay could have done more if they wanted to, but like, that's all we can do.
Yeah,
we're gonna let that happen every week. I mean, I don't know. I look at it and I think there's a lot of guys to that point who probably are glad they don't have to like take this window of time and go through growing pains with Trey Lance. Again, you feel awful about him for the injury. Hope he comes back from all this, but the reality is the 49ers now probably have a better chance.
Yeah, it just seems like
just showing my receipt.
Yeah,
I'm just showing my receipt.
Now, who'd you talk to?
It doesn't matter who.
Right, so,
I'm just saying that the who doesn't matter, but the content matters, right?
Yeah.
The context of which it was put in. So it's interesting, the detail.
Well, that's the other thing you got to take into account when you got a quarterback who's just a drop back guy. Guys around him get excited because they know they're getting the ball. And that
goes back to what you said.
It's different when you got a quarterback who's going to be running the football. Like, I was joking with Reggie about this yesterday. I was like, you want to root for a quarterback, but you don't want to play with one that you're not getting the ball from. He's taking away catches from you when he's scrambling. He's taking away runs from you when he's designed quarterback runs. So there's an element of that, too, that's like a little better for business when you got a guy who's just a drop back guy.